in Eretz Yisrael. Welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur. Ooh, no tie. Oy, 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 oy. Hatzlacha, bracha to everybody in the new month, Nisan. We are now in mekudeshes Kiddushin, Daf Samech Aleph Amud Beis, in the very, very, very bottom of the page. Literally, the last word of the page is the word Mai. Mai means what? It doesn't mean the month. May it means Mai. What? This year's Leilu Nishna Savimer Menachem Ben Akiva Rus Bas Shalom Tzom Bas Moshe Lehatzlacha. Right. So now, before we continue, let's summarize. We had an issue last in the previous Amud, in this past Amud, there was a machlokes between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel. Rabbi Meir says that whenever the Torah is followed by nowadays halacha, whenever there's a condition made, the condition has to be what I would call double-sided, t'nai koful, a double t'nai, which means you say, haret mekudeshes li, yeah, if you give me 200 zuz, you are mekudeshes. And then you have to say, if you don't give me 200 zuz, you're not mekudeshes. Although logic would say no, if I know that if X, then yes, then I know that if Y, then no, true. However, that's what the Torah wanted. There are different ways to explain it. Let's accept it now as that's how Torah views Tnoim. Yeah? It always has to be mentioned. Both sides have to be mentioned, and we choose purposefully not to infer one from the other. That's how Rabbi Meir learns, and we extensively explained, I think it was quite clear yesterday, I will learn it from the Tanoi Bnei Gad Bnei Reuven, right? The way the Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to Bnei Gad Bnei Reuven about if you cross the river and you fight, then you get your share. If you don't cross, you don't get your share. You just get like everybody else. Nice. That was Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel argues. He learns the psukim over there differently, and he says no. Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel says you don't have to always double over that now. You don't always have to mention both options. It's enough if you say one side, and we understand the mirror image, the opposite on the other side. It's enough to say, if you give me 200 zuz, you are. The get is a get, and you don't have to repeat and say that. If not, then it's not a get. It's inferred automatically. And then we had many different cases, and we still are in the middle of those many basically cases which we see in the Torah itself, how the Torah relates to conditions, like the condition HaKadosh Baruch Hu made with Cain. If you behave yourself, things will be good. If you won't, if you don't, then you won't. And we put Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Chanina Gamliel into test, yeah, by testing through different cases in the Torah. The very last case we had was, you know what, let me actually restart from, it doesn't cost us money, to do a little bit of a review and not start with the word Mai. As I said, let's start from the word Bishlema, which is 5 lines, which is 5 lines from bottom of the page. Thank you, Parrots. Yeah, 5 lines from bottom of the page. Bishlema le Rabbi Meir. Now we are quoting Posuki in Yeshayahu, as you called it, Isaiah. Yeah. So now at the beginning of Yeshayahu, what does it say? It says the following with a question. Bishlema le Rabbi Meir. According to Rabbi Meir, I understand what Yeshayahu Novi says. It makes sense when it says, Im toivu ushmatem tu va'oretz terchelu. If you're willing, if you're interested to listen to the words of Hashem, you will eat the best of the land. You'll get to eat, to enjoy the best of the land of Eretz Yisrael. And then the pasuk continues, V'imtemanu merisem cherev teuklu. If you refuse, if you are rebellious, then you'll be eaten by the sword. And the question is, of course, well, Bishlam, according to Rabbi Meir, I understand the Novi has to give us double condition. If you behave, good. If you don't behave, no. That follows Rabbi Meir's logic, that the Novi and the Torah and Halacha always goes double. According to Chanina ben Gamliel, why does the pasuk have to tell me both options? Clearly, if everything goes well, then you'll get something good, reward. I understand the pasuk doesn't have to tell me, according to Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel, that if I misbehave, then I'll get bad stuff. Chalila. Answers the Gemara, no, as we said before. One would have thought, im toivu toiva. One would have thought maybe there's a middle way. If you behave, then good, then it's toiva. Maybe if you refuse to walk in the ways of Hashem, nothing extremely good will happen, but nothing bad would happen either. Kamash Malan. In other words, as that's always Rabbi Hanina ben Gamliel's, so to speak, trick. He many times sees three options, like we said yesterday by Bnei Gad. There are three options: good life, bad life, and middle of the road, mediocre, just balance, just about. So Havamina was, you follow the ways of Hashem, wow, tremendous things will happen. If you don't follow the ways of Hashem, you're missing on the good, but no bad would happen. That's why the Navi has to specify only there, because there are more options. There the Navi has to tell us, no, if you don't follow the ways of Hashem, you refuse, oy oy oy, you'll be eaten by the sword. Now, here the Gemara is concentrating on the last words, you'll be eaten by the sword. I just want to explain something. The word te'uklu, which means you will be eaten, is spelled exactly the same way as tochlu. Tochlu means you will eat. Passive and and active and passive verbs. In Hebrew there's a lot of it. So now the Gemara is actually learning. That's going to the next statement. What the Navi is telling them is not that you will be eaten by the sword. You will eat swords. Is that a circus? Go eat swords. What does it mean? You'll eat the swords. The Gemara, my cherev toichlu. What does it mean when the Navi is telling them you'll end up eating swords? What does it mean? Although it says you will be eaten by the sword, but it also, as we know in the Torah, there's chiyuchsiv. It also infers, it's also suggesting you will eat bad food. And by the way, it just occurred to me now, b'siyata d'shmaya, guys, this is inspired by you. It makes sense to say you'll eat sword because that's the opposite of the good side. What does it say? If you listen to Hashem, you will eat the best of the land. You'll have good food. You'll eat the tuv, the goodness of the land. The opposite of that is not you'll be taken with the sword. The opposite of that is you'll eat bad food. Very good. But the question is, why do we call bad food eating swords? What kind of food is it? The Gemara is going to get very graphic and very culinarily graphic. What kinds of food are so bad that they're considered like eating swords? They're eating such bad food that will be the only food available if you don't follow the ways of Hashem. That food will be like swords in your stomach. What kind of food is that? Milcha glalanisa. That is salt. That is salt which is rough salt that is not refined. Like rough salt, coarse salt, right? Nama desari akusha. That is dry bread made out of barley, dry barley bread. Sounds like what my dietitian is suggesting me so far. Basically, dried and barley bread. That's not nice. Ubetzali and onions. I guess onions. Sharp, very good. They're all like sharp, hard. As Mar says, pasfoni. Foni is an Aramaic is an oven, like in Italian. Fono in Italian is an oven, and also in Portuguese there's a similar word. A large commercial oven. So pasfoni, the bread which is from that specific big oven. Chareva, if it's dried, bemelach, in salt, makes it even worse. Ubetzolim, with the onions, koshim laguf kacharovois. They're hard for the body like swords. Bread and onion. By the way, in Spanish, bread and onion is like supposed to be like the food of the poor people. There's a saying, I will follow you even if you only eat bread and onion, which means even if you're dirt poor, all you eat is bread and onion. You go that low, I would still be your friend. So it's interesting. Bread and onion, here we see a source. If you just eat that, that's hard for the body, like charovis, if it's dry, the bread. Now let's continue. I highly recommend that now we open the Chumash, Parshas Nesoi. Let's now open the Chumash to Bamidbar, Perek. I brought Chumashim here behind you, behind Shlomo. Bamidbar, Hey Yutes. Hey, Bamidbar Hey Yutes. The next pasuk, the next issue, the next parsha we're going to explore through the prism of Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Hanina ben Gamliel is the parsha of Sotah. What's a Sotah? A woman who's, without going to details, highly suspected of being unfaithful to her husband. So he takes her to Beis HaMikdash and they do a whole ceremony. Part of the ceremony, is the Kohen makes her swear, is mashbia. He quotes, he cites a shvua, an oath to her. she says Omein. In other words, she's basically swearing that she did not do anything wrong. She claims that she's clean. The husband claims, I highly suspect otherwise. They're going to Beis Hamikdash. Yeah, that's what you do. Shalom Bayis issues, go to the rabbi. They go to the Kohen. So now let's see what the Pasuk says about that. So now Pasuk Yutes, we're in the middle of the Parsha, so the connects and this and that, all kinds of things. The water, and he uncovers her hair, she brings a mincha. The Kohen is mashbia her, lehashbia, he makes her give an oath. The Omer laisha, now he says to the woman like this, Im loy shachavish oisach v'im loy sotis. Yeah, he says to her, 1 second, I just want to make sure, because there's another pasuk I want to read. I'm sorry that I'm stopping in the middle. 1 second. Yes. So the Kohen tells her, sorry. Yeah. The Kohen tells her, back to pasuk, yeah, if the man did not sleep with you, I'm just quoting the pasuk word for word. If you didn't go astray, tuma, yeah, tachas ishech, under your husband, hinoki. Very good. You'll be clean. Right? In other words, you'll be clean. Right? Hinoki. Remember the words. Hinoki. If you are good as you claim to be, if you're so good and everything went well and nothing wrong went on, then you'll be clean from those accursed water, right, which I'll give you soon. The at continues the next pasuk. The at kisotis tachas ishech, you who are soite tachas, you who did go astray. And then he says, if, he doesn't say if, but that's the other side. You're soite, you went astray, and you had another man's sperm besides your husband. Okay, it doesn't say what happens then, open-ended, and then continues the Gemara, the Torah. Then it continues the Torah. Chochaf Aleph, v'ishbia kohen seisha b'shvua sa'olo. Again, there's another shvua. All I'm trying to tell you, there are two shvuos. There are two sets of shvuos here. Is telling there. B'shvua sa'olo. Ha'olo means up until now the kohen made her swear. You didn't do it, girl. You didn't do it. Swear. Yeah. When he says you swear, and then she says Omein eventually. That's one shvua, telling her, I mashbia you, I make you swear you didn't do anything wrong. Okay? And if so, if you're right, everything is clean, the water will go through your body like Neviot, May Eden, Evian. All will be good. Now it continues with the second shvua. I'm saving you a lot of trouble by explaining there are two shvuas over here. The second shvua, the Ishbia Kohen, I'm sorry, there's no, if you want, you can bring the chumash or whatever. That's now intensifying. He's now giving her another shvua with Ola. What's Ola? Klolo. Now he's telling her that in case you are wrong, not only you're breaking a shvua, you'll be cursed. You're getting a curse. The Kohen tells the woman, you will become an Ola, you'll be cursed amongst your nation. Yeah, when your body is going to basically explode, and those accursed water will come through you, yeah, to blow up your stomach, your legs going to fall. And then the woman says, Omen, Omen. The woman says, Omen, twice. Why is twice? That's another reason. But the woman says, Omen, finished. Now we have to break down that psukim, according to Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Chanan ben Gamliel. Okay, we just thought, by the way, so now, there are two shvuas. One shvua is, listen, girl, I mashbia you. That's one. Secondly, I mashbia you I'm intensifying it. I mashbia you should be aware that if you're lying, then not only you're going to die, you'll be accursed. You'll have a klolo, a curse upon you, an olo. Having that in mind, let's continue. It says, if you noticed, when I was reading the psukim, it is leaving it open-ended. Yeah, it doesn't say what would happen if no, which means, well, let's see it in the Gemara. According to Rabbi Chanan ben Gamliel, Hainu dechtiv. I'm sorry, excuse me. Another technical problem came. According to Rabbi Chanan ben Gamliel, Hainu dechtiv, it makes sense. What did Rabbi Chanan ben Gamliel say? You have to make both conditions, or is one side enough? Rabbi Chanan ben Gamliel? One is enough. This is so quick. It makes sense. Right? If a man did not sleep with you and you did not go astray, you'll be clean. If you noticed when I read the pasuk, it doesn't say what's the other side, right? It says im loy shochav isha, loy sotich, then you'll be clean, right? And then it says ve'at kisotis, and then if you went astray, then what? It doesn't say, it leaves it open-ended, because the next pasuk chafalif is a new shvua. Is a new shvua. Pasuk chaf is not telling you, but if you're a naughty girl, then so and so. It says, I assume kisotis tachas ishech, and what? And what if you saw tachas ishech? It's very open, yeah? If you look at psukim yutes chaf carefully, he's not telling you clearly, if you are good, you'll be clean, and if you were bad and you were sotah and astray, you'll be bad. It doesn't say it. According to Rabbi Gamliel, very good, amazing. Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel is finally celebrating. Most of the times he was attacked. Yeah, of course. If you were if you're a good girl, the water will be okay and all will be clean. Needless to say that if you're a naughty girl, then the water will do bad. Now, don't talk to me about the second time when it says it. I'm talking about the psukim yutes chaf only. In the first shvua, it's one-sided. Yeah, if you behave, he naki. What's he naki? What's naki in Hebrew? You will be clean. Now, Rabbi Meir, but according to Rabbi Meir, the Torah should have continued and should have spoken out and specified the other side. And chinoki miboile. In other words, it should have said, yeah, it should have said, if you're clean, you'll be. If you're good, you'll be clean. And if you're not good, you'll be chinaki. You'll be choked. You'll be choked, lechanek, chenek. You'll be choked by the water. Why doesn't the Torah say that? The Torah said it later. That's a separate shvua. That's a separate shvua. But in this shvua, it's one-sided. Okay. So now Rabbi Meir is under question. Yeah, is in trouble. Omar bitanchum hinoki ksiv. What does that mean? That's very, very interesting. The Mefarshim explain the word hinaki is a very rare word in the Torah. I'm not such a baki in Chumash, but I have the feeling it's the only time in the Chamishi Chumshe Torah that this word appears. Yerbal Koira. And okay, hinaki is a very interesting way of saying it. Rashi says there could be many, many other ways of writing the same idea. Yeah, there could be all kinds of more normal words than hinaki. You will be clean in feminine. Why did we choose the word hinaki? Because as we said, the Torah is alluding, yeah, to other words, yeah, through one word, yeah, you get an allusion to another word. Hinaki was chosen because it's extremely similar to the word chinaki, yeah, like the Russians. They don't know how to say, hey, nothing against Russians. I love Russian people. Yes, some of my best friends are really, yeah, but they don't know how to say ha, they say ch, yeah, or g, yeah, in other words, because they don't know, yeah. So hinaki, right, is basically also telling me chinaki. In the same word, we are hinting to both you'll be clean or you'll be strangulated. You'll choke. Now Rashi says something very nice. Look how Nasi works out. I'm reading again the psukim with a new understanding. Pasuk Yutes. Look inside Pasuk Yutes. One way of learning this is you will be clean if all is well. Now let's stop in the same word and reread it. Very good. You will choke, you will chinaki from the bad water, the atkisotis, if you were a bad girl. Very good. You understand? This word hinaki is standing in that pivotal place in the crossroad between the two yes and no, between the two sides of the Kiddushin. If all is good, hinaki, that's a weird word. Hinaki, we chose hinaki because it works. It's like a double-edged sword, yeah. Hinaki, if you're good, chinaki, and that relates to the following words. Chinaki, if you're a bad girl, naughty girl, pritzesdika. Very good. So according to Rabbi Meir, that works very well. It works so well according to Rabbi Meir. Now we're turning the tables against Rabbi Chanina. Oy, oy, oy. Now the Gemara is asking the opposite. According to Rabbi Meir, I understand what the Torah shows such a rare, extraordinary word, hinaki. El Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel, lamali. According to Chanina ben Gamliel, if we're not trying to hint to the double-edged sword here, why did the Torah say hinaki? Yeah, why not all kinds of other words? Answers the Torah. No, answers the Gemara. Itzrich. Yes. You agree. I agree with you that the Torah is using both sides. Yes, yes, no, no. You know why? Itzrich. Again, Rabbi Chanina has the same answer more or less. Sal Kadai Tachamina, I would have thought, Im lo yishochav ish chinoki, if hinoki, sorry, if no other man slept with you, hinoki, you'll be clean. Beim shochav, but if you had relations with the other guy, lo hinoki velo hinoki, maybe nothing bad will happen. No good, no bad. Ela isura be'alma. Maybe you only, in other words, maybe I would say that if you did do something wrong, then the water will not be clean for you, but you won't choke, you won't strangulate, you won't die either, but you'll be osur. What does it mean osur? I'll ask you, what happens if a woman is supposed to be mizana under her husband, lo aleinu? Is he allowed to be with her? He doesn't mind. No. You'll be osur to your husband. Kamash malan. Kamash malan, we have to specify. We have to specify and say, no, lady. If you are naughty, if you did the wrong thing, if you're adulteress, then really you will suffer and you will die. Frag the Meiri. I had a question, and Baruch Hashem, I saw that the Meiri asks the question. I opened the Meiri and I saw it inside. Meiri asks the question. Now, this is very nice that we are turning a blind eye continuously about the second Shavuot. But how can you say such a thing? At the end of the day, we know that later on the Kohen will tell her she's going to blow up. The lady, there will be an interesting show. Yeah, excuse me. She drinks the water, poof, her stomach, poof, her legs. Yeah. So how can you say that if you are unloyal, if you are unfaithful, how can you say nothing would happen? There's not such havamina. As much as other shvua is another shvua, but practically speaking, she will die. Answers the Meiri, unbelievable answer. Answers the Meiri like this. Sometimes, halachically, for halachic reasons, the water doesn't work. The magic water based on mikdash just ain't working. Why? Because of all kinds of reasons. Reason number one, maybe the husband was a naughty boy. If the husband was unfaithful to her, then the water will not check her. It says noki. Only if he's clean, she's also clean. What? Both what? Yeah. Rambam in Amen Rishonim Choylekonim says that if the husband was ever naughty any time in his life, let's say the age of very young age of 14, he had a girlfriend in high school, Jewish, and she went to mikveh, but it's still bad, snus. Still, the water will not check his wife when he's 40 years old. Only if the man is crystal clean, how do you say nice English, whatever, pristine, clean, 100% clean slate, clean record, only then the tzaddik can take his wife who's mezana and the water is going to work and blow her up. But if the husband is also a shtikal naughty boy, he also has his business over there. So Mimela what? It won't check her. And she knows that, so she's not scared. So then there was a half a minute to say, listen, lady, even if the water is not going to work, yeah, maybe nothing bad will happen, yeah, and you'll be scot-free and you live your life. And she would, because the water is not going to work. You think that's what's going to happen? We say no. Something bad will happen. What does it mean? Says the Meiri, we all know, as the Gemara says in, don't remember where, that nowadays there's no Arba Mitzvahs based in. Sadhu Hashem punish people. Skila. Yeah, in the Gulf War, I don't like to make Cheshbon Shemaim, but it's very, very clear. In the Gulf War, I lived through it there and I was 19. I knew exactly what was going on. There's a guy in the Gulf War, and my friend knew him personally. My good friend knew him in person. And there was a guy, there was many nisim, nobody died, 39 scars, everybody knows. There was one person who mamish had skila because the stones fell on him, on his face. Yes, Ramat Gan. There was a guy who was mamish, like he got the stones on him and he, like skila. And this guy was a very, very anti-Shmir Shabbos. He would drive in Bnei Brak with his car back and forth, dafka to be Michal Shabbos. It an issue of pro-Chilul Shabbos very vehemently, and he died from skila. That is not, I know the story in person, okay? So now that story is what the Gemara is, that exemplifies what the Gemara says. Nowadays there's no Arba Mitzvahs based in. So what do you do? So Kodesh Baruch Hu makes it look as if it's part of nature, just an occurrence. And he punishes people. Hashem has his own ways. Harbe shluchim lamokim. Hashem has many messengers. And so too over here, says the Meiri, that's what you're telling the Zoyna. You think you can rest assured because the water is going to work and nothing will happen, no good nor bad? Isura be'alma, no. You will, kamash mala, no. You won't just, go scot-free. You'll really suffer. Yeah, you will actively suffer and die. Otherwise, she'll get chenek. Yeah, because really, an eshes tishetz mezana will get chenek. Next time you go to a restaurant, you'll choke on the piece of steak. I don't know what. That's according to the Meiri. Interesting chiddush. Okay? But now this piece of Torah is good according to both Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Chanina Gamliel. Weiter, next one. Next one, we recently read Parshas Parah. We don't have to open the Chumash now. And in Parshas Parah, I want to ask you, how many times a person who became Tomeh, Pesach is coming. We all have to soon get the Parah Adumah. I hope Mashiach will find us one. And what's going to happen? How many times you get sprinkled by the Parah Adumah water? Twice. On the third day and the seventh day of your Tumah. Now, just to make it clear before we even begin, well, it's been many days since I was Nitma Lameis. What do you mean 3 days, right? So the Maisa, it's not a problem. Why? Because a third and the seventh day, first, the person is sprinkling over the Tomeh on the third day. On the seventh day, doesn't have to be 3 days since the Tumah. It has to be you have to wait at least 3 days from the Tumah. You're Nitma on Sunday, you have to wait Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday is the third day you sprinkle, and then you wait, 4, 5, 6 on the seventh day again. Okay, but let's say you waited for 2 months, 3 months, no problem. You can still sprinkle as long as the gap between the first sprinkling and the second one is 4 days apart, third and seventh. That's what matters. This is very, very important. I'm telling you. Yeah, let's continue. According to Rabbi Meir, I understand it when it says, who is Chata boy? This is now supporting Rabbi Meir again. It says, who is Chata boy? Yeah. Who is Chata boy b'yom shlishi or b'yom shvi yitar? Yeah. He shall be ischata. He will be mischata. He should purify, cleanse himself on the third day and on the seventh day. The person who is impure by mace. And then it says, v'im lo ischata b'yom shlishi b'yom shvi lo yitar. And if he does not purify himself on the third and seventh day, he will not be pure. Again, verbose, right? If you purify yourself on the third and seventh day, you'll be pure. And if you don't purify yourself on the third and seventh day, you're not pure. Yeah, you stay Tomeh. Well, Rabbi Meir is celebrating. Oh, you see, the Torah is always going double. And Rabbi Chanina Gamliel, what will you say? El Rabbi Chanina Gamliel Lamali. What's Rabbi Chanina Gamliel going to say? Answers the Gemara, Itzrich. We have to Itzrich, yes. We have to mention both sides. Why? Salkadaita Chamina, there was a Havamina to say, mitzvahs hazo b'shlishi u'b'shvi. Maybe the mitzvah, if you notice, the Torah doesn't say im. It doesn't say if, by the way. It says, who is chate b'yom shlishi b'yom shvi. The first side of the pasuk says, he shall be pure by sprinkling third and seventh day, and if not, not. What does it mean, he shall? He shall is not a condition. It's a commandment. You should really sprinkle twice on the third day and the seventh day. But maybe there was a Havamina to say, maybe one is enough. Listen to the interesting Havamina. Let me ask you a question before we continue. When you ask a new Baal Tshuva just became from 2 days before Sukkot, Yom Kippur, yeah? So now he's asking, what do you do with the 4 species? What do you tell him? You take them, make a bracha, turn esrog, yeah? And then you have to shake. Now, let's say Baal Tshuva says, it's too much for me. So is he yoitze without shaking? Yes. As long as you pick it up, you're yoitze. Even without the bracha, you're yoitze, mikra din. Oh. In other words, in halacha, we know many, many times you have lechatchila, the whole shebang, lechatchila, the whole 9 yards, lechatchila, hook, line, and sinker. But yeah, you can do it much less. Yeah. So the Torah didn't say if you sprinkle twice, which is conditional. The Torah says you shall sprinkle twice, but maybe one is enough, but maybe one time is enough. Third or seventh, maybe it's enough. That's what I would have thought, but just closing the pasuk there, finishing the pasuk then. Kamash Malan, the second part of the pasuk says, the im loy. Very good. And if you don't sprinkle twice, im loy yischata b'yom shlishi b'yom shvi, if you don't do the whole business, the whole thing, lock, stock, and barrel, then you remain impure. That's a beautiful answer. Kamash Malan, that you need the whole thing. And therefore, it's not considered double. It's not double. One is lechatchila, and one is telling you that even b'di'eved, you need both sprinklings. Otherwise, you are stuck as if you did nothing, as if you take 3 species out of 4. You're not yoitze. Now, we continue to quote the pasuk. Now, the next question is nothing to do, according to Rashi, nothing to do with Rabbi Meir or Rabbi Chanina Gamliel. It's a question on everybody. Question on everybody. What? No, he does. No, he just answered. We just gave an answer from Chanina Gamliel. I just did. According to Chanin Gamliel, the reason why the Torah has to kivyachol repeat, it's not called repeating again, because the first part of the pasuk told you shall sprinkle third and seventh. It didn't say if. So I would say that's a mitzvah lechatchila. Lechatchila should eat apple and honey with Rosh Hashanah. It doesn't mean it's me'akev. Maybe it's not me'akev. That's when the other side im loy. If you don't do the whole thing, you're not yotze. You're still tomit. Right? Bezos Hashem. You good? We're continuing now to ask a general question on both opinions. Just another interesting, important detail regarding Parah Adumah. Yeah, it says in that pasuk, the Torah, the pure person shall sprinkle on the impure person on the third and seventh day, right? And then it says, and again it says he should purify him on the seventh day. Okay, and the question is, why do you need to repeat that? In other words, the Torah repeats the same thing twice completely, and that's difficult even for Rabbi Meir. We said already, if you purify yourself on the third and seventh day, your Torah. I got that. And then again, the Torah says the pure man should sprinkle on the Tomeh again on the third and seventh day. Why repeating twice? That's too much. Lekula alma, yeah. By the way, who would sprinkle the water of the Parah Adumah on the impure person? You're right and you're wrong. So I had an issue because all the comic books of the Haredi children, they always show a kohen sprinkling on a regular person from the Mei Parah Adumah. And I took an issue with that, Burge, because it's a Mefurish Gemara in Yoma somewhere, and in the Rambam afterwards, that every Jewish man was above bar mitzvah and his male can sprinkle on his friend. So therefore, it's lav dafka kohen. You and I can do that too, not only you. However, afterwards, people, no. Then, so the kohen can give it to somebody else, and he would do it. Now, however, afterwards I saw in a sefer of today, he brings down, I don't remember where from, that the custom was Kohanim usually did it. The ones doing it were usually the Kohanim, so it's not a chiyuv. A regular person can do it as well. It was socially / halachically accepted that Kohanim did it. Okay, so maybe the comic books there's something there. In any event, why does the Torah have to repeat twice Shlishi and Shvi? Answers the Torah, the Torah has to stress it twice. Why? Shlishi, I would have thought maybe the word Shlishi, third day, Lemiuti Sheni, is coming to exclude the second day, meaning don't start the Tahara process too early. You can't start it 2 days after the impurity. Let's say the person became impure, sadly so, on Shabbos. On Shabbos, the dead person died in his house. Lo aleinu. Oh, somebody died in his house. He's Tomeh on Shabbos. Maybe Sunday, Monday. No, Monday is not good enough. You have to wait for Tuesday. That I understand. Shvi lemiuti shishi. Yeah, maybe the seventh day means excluding the sixth day, meaning don't push your luck, don't bring it closer. Yeah, you have to wait enough time. But why? The kamimai to be made tara. You don't have enough days of purity, right? You have to have more days in the purity process, more gap between your tuma and the tahara. But when he did it on the third day, ubashmini, let's say he did it on the third day, and on the eighth day, maybe the gap between the first sprinkling and the second one can be longer. Maybe, I did on the third day, and then I waited 8, 9, 10. I take my time, and maybe it's even better. The kamapish di meitara. You have more days of purity. You have longer days of purity, meaning you are further away from that Shabbos when the guy died. Yeah, maybe it's better to wait longer. Maybe the longer the better. You remove yourself in time more from the tuma. Maybe emeshaper dami. Maybe it's good. Kamash malan. Kamash malan. No. What's a kamash malan? That says Rashi, as I told you before. The third day clearly doesn't have to be third mamish when it's at least 3 days since you were Tomeh. But if you were Tomeh half a year ago, you can do the thing now. It's a machlokes, by the way, but this is a Rashi Paskins. Yeah. In Amma Oretz, you should know, in the times of Beis Hamikdash, people in Meratzim, they didn't care that they're Tomeh. They can be Tomeh all year round. When did they remember all of a sudden to be Tor? On Pesach. Because everybody celebrates Seder, everyone does Pesach. Before going to Beis Hamikdash, they would all rush to do the Parah Adumah. It's been 3.5 months since it became Tomeh. That's no problem. as long as the third, meaning at least 3 days. But what is me'akev is that between the second sprinkling, the first and second sprinkling, you have to have the same gap as between third and seventh. You have to have a gap of 4 days. 3, yeah, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, 5, whatever. 3 days in between. You always have to have 3 days in between the first sprinkling and the second one. That's what's important. And I wouldn't have known that. Maybe it's just a l'chatchila recommendation. The Torah has to repeat twice to tell you, no, there's no other way. You always have to have at least 4 days of separation between them. Not at least. No, wrong. I made a mistake. Not at least. You have to have 3 days in between, no less and no more. Between the first sprinkling and the second one, yeah, it's not at least as I would have thought from the first pasuk. The Torah repeats twice to tell you this is the only way. Third and seventh, meaning 1 day, then 4, 5, 6, then 4 days later you sprinkle again. 1 second, please. I can see I have a question. Now, one more question. Why does the Torah have to again say that it will purify him on the seventh day? We know it's already twice. Why do you have to tell me third time that the guy gets purified on the seventh day? It's necessary. Why? I would have said, this is a very, very, very choshev yesod b'chol Torah kula. I would have thought maybe we're talking here for kodshim. Maybe a person, why does a person need to be pure? Unless you're Talmid Chacham, you want to pure all year round. You tell me, when me'ikar din do I have to be pure and I'm not allowed to be Tomei? When I do what? When I drink tea? For what purpose do I have to be Torah? Who cares? Either when I go to Beis HaMikdash, to eat kodshim, to eat korbanos, or if my name is Cohen, or my name is you're Choshev a guy, and I eat Truma, you know that. The Koyanim, you go to the old city, right? You went on a tour, the place is full of mikvahs, because Koyanim would have to go to mikvah all the time. Every time he eats Truma, right? Not every time saying, but frequently. So now, Kodshim and Truma are 2 levels. The Chol Torah Kula, you see it in everywhere. Kodshim are a higher level than Truma. Yeah? Although both have to be kept with Tahara, but the security level, the purity level of Kodshim is always higher than Truma, with all kinds of nafkaminas. Yeah? One nafkamina is, for example, this week's Parsha. What do we say in this week's Parsha? The woman was Tomei for 40 days, 80 days. Now what? Now, when she wants to eat Truma, what has to happen? Nightfall. That's all. If she wants to eat Kodshim, she has to wait until the morning after and bring a korban. You see, Truma is always 1 level below Kodshim. And therefore, let's get back to our Gemara. If the Torah only told me twice that I have to sprinkle the 3rd and 7th day, I would say that's talking about Kodshim. Kodshim are very high level. But let's say a person wants to eat Truma, maybe Bechad Nami Sagya. What's Sagya? Enough. Maybe 1 sprinkling is enough. The 3rd or the 7th would be enough. Amash Malan, no. For both Kodshim and Truma, you need 2 sprinkling, and it's Rabbi, what do you want to ask me? Is Tavis included? New Mishnah, exciting new Mishnah about futuristic ideas. Says the Mishnah, mekudeshes the Isha. First part of the Mishnah is, a person is mekadesh a woman at mekudeshes, all very nice, beautiful, chasana, steak, shweki. The Omar, and he said, Kasovo hisi she kohenes. I thought she was a kohenes. I thought she was a daughter of a kohen, which means she's more of a yichus dike. She has yichus. But I levia, after the chasana, I realized she's just a bas Levi. Levia, very kohenes. I thought she says Levi, and really she's a kohenes. It's too much for me. Remember what we said before? Some people say you don't want to marry somebody too yichus dik or too rich or too this. It's it's above your level. Ania v'arei Ashira. I thought she was poor and she's rich. I didn't want that. Ashira v'arei Ania. Yeah, I thought she was rich. Really, she's poor. Hareza mekudeshes. In all these cases, no question, it's Kiddushin. Why? She did not mislead him. If he followed the words of the Mishnah, he thought. She didn't tell him. She did not mislead him. This Mishnah, every couple should learn this Mishnah, every person. Because we assume all kinds of things, then we blame the other guy, right? Basically, you're assuming things. Don't assume. Finish. Don't assume. In other words, how do you know? You thought she's a Kohen. You didn't say anything. She didn't say anything. You had ideas in your mind. Vorm Shabalev. This is just in your heart. Vorm Shabalev, the Gemara Daf Nun, nothing. And therefore the marriage is a good marriage. right? If you wanted to divorce her, go to the counselor. But Lamaisa, no. Yeah. What are you saying? Yitzchak. Uh-huh. The next part of the Mishnah is about futuristic ideas. Tim McKenzie, it's been a long time without Tim. Tim McKenzie tells the Shprinza Bela, you are mekudeshes to me now after I'm Megayer. I'm already in the process of being Megayer again. Yeah. And after Megir, yeah, will finish the process, then already from now, I want you to be my wife. Right now, I'm a goy, I can't be Mekadesh you. I want to already plant the seed and Mekadesh you now. So, yeah, whenever, so afterwards, it's going to work and you'll be my wife right there. Oy lachash it is gairi. Yeah, Chaim Yankel is approaching Belinda McKenzie, telling her after you finish your gear, you'll be my wife, but I'm Mekadesh you now. You mekudesh now. When you'll be Megayer, then it's going to apply. This is an Eved. An Eved Knaini is not allowed to marry a Bas Yisrael. He says, Ret mekudeshes li, and it will kick in after my master will hopefully give me the get and release me, liberate me. A regular Jewish, nice Jewish boy is telling, hey, Shifcha Knainis, I like you so much and you like me, but what can we do? I'm not allowed to marry you because you are a Shifcha. So you mekudeshes to me. Here's a ring. Here's everything. Here's the chuppah. Not chuppah. That's what's done today. Here's the kiddushin. So when you will be free, when your Odin will release you, then you'll be my wife. It's like on hold. That's true. It's a married woman. He's approaching his next door neighbor, a woman. I don't know the office. Aret mekudeshes li after your husband dies. Okay. Or after your sister, which is my wife, is going to die. Let's say the woman is a single woman and she's a sister-in-law. And he says, I really like you more. You know, my dear sister-in-law, you're single and you're nice, but I can't marry you because my wife is your sister. Only after my wife will die, hopefully soon, he says, that's what he says, not me. And then what? Then you mekudeshes to me. All these futuristic ideas. Next one. Let's say the woman is a zekuka. You know what zekuka liyova means? You know who died? Their husband. She has no children. The husband didn't have children. She has brothers-in-law that she's like not married to them, but she's not allowed to marry other people before there's chalitza. There was no chalitza yet. And he says, after your chalitza, the Kiddushin, I'm starting now. I do everything now. I put it, yeah, I set it in motion. So when after you do chalitza, then you'll be mekudeshes, eina mekudeshes. What a disappointment. All these people who live in the future, but they're saying you mekudesh now for, no, after the halachic obstacle will be gone, then you mekudeshes, eina mekudeshes. By the Rashi points out that this is only true, the last case is true according to Man de Omar that says that the Yevama Lashuk, a woman who's a Yevama and is still stuck with either Chalitza or Yibum, she's not allowed to get married. But if she did get married, we say that it's Toifus. This Man de Omar says no. The question is, what happens if a lady who's Zekuka, who's a Yevama, supposed to have Chalitza or Yibum, the brother-in-law didn't yet do it, and she got married against Halacha? Does the marriage apply? La halacha it does, but this Man de Omar holds no. The side point. Now, v'chen, third case to do the future. Amar lechaveroi, im yolda ishtech nekeva harei ze mekudeshes li. I see a wife is pregnant. Very nice. No, I'd like to marry the fetus, the unborn baby, but you can't marry an unborn baby. And also the ultrasound didn't work so well. You know who invented ultrasound? The British in the 50s. Yeah, British invention. Yeah. So now there's no ultrasound. So I don't know if it's a boy or girl. And now, in case it's a girl, she's mekudeshes li already now. And it will start kicking in when she's born. Eina mekudeshes. She's not mekudeshes. Yeah. That's again talking about future. Since the baby wasn't yet born, you're looking at the future. In other words, basically, we believe that a kinyan of the osid, yeah, a kinyan, no, how's it's a famous words? I forgot. No. Basic thing. These are all castles in the air. It's a davar shelo b'lo'olam. You can't sell, buy, mikadesh, do anything real with davar shelo b'lo'olam. Something didn't yet come to the world. No, she's not yet Jewish. No, she's still married to your best friend. Says the Gemara. Tnan Hosam. We say in the Mishnah over there, Ein toilmin minatolush ala mechuba. Here now we're learning again about Truma. What happens? I want to ask you a question. Can I take Truma? Let's say you have a whole load of, let's say, I don't know, cucumbers. The Obano doesn't matter. I have a whole load of cucumbers still growing in the ground. They are ready and they are fresh and they are ready to be picked, but they're not yet picked from the ground. Are they chayiv b'maiser? Can I take meiser from them now? No. It says the gonecho. When am I chayiv b'maiser, my friends, midoraisa? Only after I picked them and collected and miruach and set it and organized them, settled them nicely. Yeah, fixed them, set them nicely. Miruach. Now, so now let's say it says as follows. I want to take one cucumber, which is disconnected from the ground, regular cucumber in my kitchen cupboard, yeah, and I take the cucumber from the fridge, and that cucumber, there was no meiser done on it. I give it to the kohen in order to exempt the other cucumbers. We're still stuck in the ground. We're still in the ground. You can't do that. You're doing nonsense because those cucumbers are not chayiv b'meiser. V'im toram, and if you did that, ain't trumos truma. The truma is not a good truma at all. What is it? It's not a truma. First of all, the one cucumber which you used as truma on the other ones, when the kohen gets it, it's tevel. The kohen shouldn't eat it because it's not truma, and by default it's tevel. Now, the kohen should take truma from the cucumber. What about the other cucumbers? Once I pick them and collect them and settle them, are they chayiv b'meiser? Of course, because the meiser did when they were premature, underage, still connected to the ground. Avada over there, nothing happened. Bekitzer, zero, zilch, nonsense. Complete nonsense what this guy did. You can't take truma from anything that's mechuba. Ve'im nothing. On the wings of this Mishnah, on the heels of that Mishnah of Asid Amoyro, is asking a question from Yochanan. Omar, let's say a person says as follows. Those vegetables, those fruit of that patch that are disconnected, yutruma al peres arugazu mechuborim, similar to the other case. He's saying the batch of fruit, the small batch of disconnected fruit, they will exempt the fruit that are still connected, which is l'chor not good. But now look at the other side. Peres arugazu mechuborim yutruma al peres arugazu tlushim lekshe yitolshu. Ooh, this guy's smart. Listen what he says. I want to give those pears that are connected to the ground. They're still connected, and I know that I cannot take meiser yet, but I'm like the guy in the Mishnah. I think ahead. Yeah, I'm an opportunist. I'm a futuristic guy. I'm saying, I'm now taking meiser on pears arugazu sheyitolshu. In other words, I want the meiser to kick in once the pears will be disconnected. Yeah, that's not like the guy before. Again, I'm repeating the second case. Peres arugazu mechuborim, the pears that are still connected to the ground, truma, they will be truma, al peres arugazu tlushim lekshitalshu, which means now is Sunday. I didn't collect yet my fruit, right? But on Tuesday I will. I know Be'ezras Hashem Tuesday I will collect the fruit. I'm saying I'm taking now meiser from the connected ones on the disconnected ones, or chai b'meiser, and when it will kick in? On Tuesday. On Tuesday, I know for sure I'm calling all the workers. On Tuesday, we're going to pick them, and then retroactively, I want it to work lemafrea. I want it now that from Tuesday, retroactively on Sunday, the meiser applies because they will be picked over there, and now I want to eat the other ones on basis of that, on that basis. Yeah. I want the meiser, which now cannot function, they're not connected, they're still connected. They will be disconnected on Tuesday, then lemafrea, the meiser works on the other batch that's now disconnected. And venitlashu, and really they were disconnected on Tuesday, everything went according to plan. Mahu, what's the halacha? Do we say that it's like lemafrea? Says Rashi, is it considered like makdish, meiser, dovo shelo b'lo'olam or not? Is it considered as castles in the air? Is talking about this goyish woman I'm mekadesh you once you megayer, once you convert, or maybe it's not. Maybe there's a difference. Maybe there's reason to say that here he is able to say that once he'll be disconnected, lemafrea, retroactively, the Meiser will work already from now. Omar Lay, so Yochanan answered, Kol shebeyodoi, anything that is up to you in your hands, anything that you are able to do, and it's up to you and your actions, lav kemechusa Meiser dami. It's not considered as if it's missing a Meiser. Wow. In other words, as opposed to the cases of the Mishnah, which we'll deal with soon, this case, it's up to me. I know, Baruch Hashem, of course, anything can happen. Maybe tomorrow there'll be a disaster and chas v'sholem pigua, fire, chas v'sholem, fine. But the Maisa, it is up to me. I have my two hands, Baruch Hashem. I have my workers. I have my fruit. I know I'm able on Tuesday to change the current situation. The future is here, as I like to say in the ads, right? Yeah. I am able to, at any given moment, to pick those fruit. Why not? And therefore, I treat them now as if they're already picked, because it's up to me. I'll do it soon. And he did, and good. And therefore, the affair is going to work. As opposed to all kinds of actions and results that are not up to me, then we say, no, you can't work beyond your control, and nothing's going to work. And now we're going to question that from our Mishnah. Anyway, we're questioning what we just said from our Mishnah. A man tells a woman, as we saw before, you mekudesh to me, you are hereby, my wife says, Tim, after I megayer. After you're megayer, after I will be liberated. Up to who is it if he'll be liberated? Who'll decide if he's liberated or not? The master, not the slave. After your master will free you. How do you know he will free her? It's up to him, not to you. Are you going to kill her husband? No, I hope not. After your husband dies, then you'll be my wife. That's not up to you, right? The husband will die. The guy is 30 years old, goes to the gym every day. He eats very healthy. After your sister, which is my wife, is going to die, you're going to kill your wife? Hopefully not. How do you know when she's going to die? That's up to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Yeah. After your Yovam will do Chalitza and mekudeshes. It's not up to you, it's up to her Yovam. Now, all these cases, if you noticed, I pointed them out except for the first case, the Giur. The Giur is different. All these cases to do with death, to do with liberation by a master, which is not part of the story, it's not up to the one who's trying to act over here, the one speaking and acting. It's beyond your control, baby. Here's the word. Yeah, and therefore, sorry, mister, it's not up to you. That makes sense that that future is not in your hands, and therefore your words are nothing. Lo b'loilom. And again, havi b'yodai. But again, it's up to him. Again, it's up to him if he'll become Jewish or not. He knows that he wants to become Jewish. He started the process, and I know what you're going to ask, and the Gemara is going to answer. I'm prophesizing. What are you going to ask? Yeah. Let's say he knows that he's a real ger and he really wants to be a ger, and it's up to him to become a ger. So why do you say that by a ger? Why do we say that, according to you, Rav Yochanan, if it's up to me, I can act now based on future that I can change? Well, the ger says, I'm very sincere, I'm very good, and I know that, yeah, I'll be a ger. It's up to me. I'm deciding to become a ger. Nobody forces me. The answer is very obvious. I can see he's from London. You know, London based in, they say, is the most machmir and gerus in the world. Oh, very good. That's the answer. Ger nami lav beyodo. Ger, it's not up to him. It's not exclusively up to him. The Omar Bichia Barab Omar B'Yochanan, but that's a chiddush for a Gemara. Chiddush is ger tzorich shloisho. A ger, to be megayer, needs 3 dayonim. For us, it's very simple because we're so used to it, but the Gemara needed to tell us that. Yeah, says Rashi, Israel. Look at the first Rashi. Says very nicely the process. In short, tzorich shloisho Israelim. He needs 3 Jewish people. Shenizkokin loy. They're connected to him. They help him. Latbiloi. They take care of the tvila. They inform him of the hard mitzvahs and easy mitzvahs. Bekitzer, again, as we know, needs a proper BSD of 3 people. They own him, they tell him the halachas, they take him through the process, and therefore it's not up to him. Maybe BSD would not agree, maybe he'll be rejected, maybe, I don't know, what takes good fears in London, I know. My time, how do you know that? Mishpat ksiv bei kedin. Because it says mishpat echod yelochem kager kaezrach. It says in the Torah, there will be one mishpat, one judgment. One mishpat is like a court case to you and the ger. Just like mishpat, a court case is at least 3 people, so too, to become Jewish, you need 3 people. And therefore, continues the Gemara, what we all understand, how do you know that these 3 people would agree? I don't know, these people will be available. Who says they agree? This ger from, I don't know, from Leeds, it's not up to him that the London BSD will megar him. Either they will or they won't. And therefore, right? And therefore, we don't know. And therefore, it's considered also to be out of your realm, out of your control. I can continue. Maskif l'Rababa Bar Memel. Rababa Bar Memel now is attacking what we just said. El me'ata, according to what you just told me. Let's say a man tells his own shifcha, I'm the master. It's up to me if I release you or I don't. If I liberate you or I don't. And you're such a nice girl. I want to marry you. And you want to marry me. Oh, so nice. Yeah, look in the stories. The Omar, he tells her, mekudeshes li, you mekudeshes to me now. Once I liberate you, and it's absolutely up to me. Kiddushin. Are you telling me that this would be good Kiddushin? Because then the Mishnah should have said it. It's like surprising, right? The Mishnah didn't talk about that. Why? Sounds like it's not good. It was an exception. Answers the Gemara, Hachi Ashta, is that the same? Hosa mikor behema Ashta das acheres. Unbelievable. Over there, yeah, although it's up to you to liberate her, but when the woman is a shifcha, it's worse than a goite. Wow. It's a very big chiddush here. The Rishonim here deal with it. A shifcha, I know it's not politically correct, but that's a Heilige Torah, is like an animal. It's like a behema because I'll explain to what it means. And if you're talking to a behema, let's say there's new technology, it's probably going to happen soon, right? It can turn a dog into a human being. Yeah, whatever. You give him a pill, and all of a sudden becomes a human being. And you say to the dog, Ariat mekudeshes li, to the female dog, when you become a Jewish woman. So that won't work. Why? Because you're talking mamish to a whole different entity. When you talk to even a goy or even an Eshes Ish Avada, she's an Eshes Ish, good woman. Once you're liberated from your husband, you're my wife. Yeah, even a goy. Why is it that a goy you can say to a goy? Not that you can. I'm saying to say to a goy, right? We didn't use that answer by a goy. That's what I'm saying. By a goy, what did we say? We didn't say it's a behemoth who's becoming a human being. We said it's not up to him to become Jewish. But the shifcha, we say, even if you can change it, because you're the master, the cards are in your hands, there's another problem. You're talking to a behemoth when you become a person. It's just too far apart. It's true that it's up to you, but it's not enough to be up to you. There has to be some kind of similarity between the current present and the future. And here the dichotomy is too hard. She's a behemoth, and after liberation, she'll boom, like Cinderella, become a woman. And again, I'm repeating the question. Why didn't we say the same thing about a goy, right? By a goy, we said, you know why it doesn't work by a goy? You know why Mackenzie can't be mekadesh Shprinz Abela? Because it's up to Beis Din. Why didn't we say goy is like a behemoth? One answer is as follows. Goyim, between them, no human being is chas v'sholem, mamish like an animal. Everyone's b'tzelem elokim. Don't worry. But when it comes to marriage, I want to ask you a question. Although you don't tell your children that, but do animals get married? Not really. They have, I don't know how loyal they are or not. They're very different species. As far as I know, even the smartest animals, even monkeys, they don't really have a ceremony of marriage, right? Oh, now Goyim, Mackenzie and Mackenzie's wife, they have marriage. Lahalocha. Yes, not Kiddushin, nafkamina. If a Goy has relations with his friend's wife, it's Chayiv Misa, one of the 7 Noachide laws. Because Goyim, the Rambam says, if they both want to be married, one to the other, they're called married. Nafkamina. Oh, so Goyim between them has marriage. There is such a concept. Jewish people, of course, their marriages, right, left, and center. Every other day, invited to a chasana. Avodim don't have that. Avodim, although they are higher than Goyim, they have the mitzvahs in some of the mitzvahs, but between them, there's no marriage. I don't know how good is your memory. Maybe Ellen remembers. We saw in Daf. I forgot myself where it's written, but about the Zochin Lodom, right? Remember, an Eved sometimes wants to stay an Eved because it's a very promiscuous lifestyle. An Eved can be every night with another girl, another Shifcha. All the Avodim and Shifchas, they do what they want. Why? Because there is no marriage by them Bechlal. There's no Kiddushin concept by Avodim. That's, I think the Ritva says it. I don't remember who says it, but I saw this over here. And that's why when you're telling a Shivcha mekudeshes li, it's talking to the wall. It's contained the wall. Hey, wall mekudeshes li. No connection. And that's why it doesn't work by Shivcha, even though you are able to change it. Okay? So let's summarize and we finish the Shiur now. Basically, so what did we say? In all the cases with the Mishnah, you can't change reality, so you can't work with the future that's not up to you. What about the story of Rabbi Yochanan? When I can change it, I can talk about my apples and oranges and say when they get disconnected by me, when they get harvested by me, then already now I treat them as harvested and I take meiser from them or to them. That works. Mazel tov on the new month. Hatzlacha bracha, and we have a beautiful month of Nisan starting to clean today. I hope I'm able to give this shiur as close as possible before Pesach. I need a nice big siyata dishmaya with the cleaning this year. Meretz Hashem, soon all the goyim will come and want to help us to clean. When Mashiach comes, they will. Hatzlacha bracha. Mackenzie will be the first one, no question. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you to everybody who watches us on YouTube and Torah Anytime. I'm sorry for the time. Go to.